The vibes. Hello! So, welcome to my first day of home renovations. So you're gonna come along with me as room by room we renovate this 1950s house that we bought. The potential! The painting girl's here. See before. Okay, we already cleared out all their stuff. These jabronis still have quite a lot to take out, including a giant ass armoire. Except for the plants, which I absolutely love. They had really large curtains on here. So we bought this house just this weekend.
We did it.
It is incredible. It's on beautiful land. It's amazing. We're so unbelievably excited about it. It came with a lot of...
What do we think this was before? Like a jacuzzi or something? Here's the reality of the situation. This full of crap. Oh, and the pool that we have to fill. There's a boogie board with a shark on it. Cool, man.
issues, but even more potential. My plan for today, I'm going to clean this place. I did some general cleaning with like a broom this far away from me and got the giant cobwebs. We're just like, ah! And then other than that, I swept the floor and that's all I've done. So the first step is gonna be cleaning. The second step is going to be prepping the walls as well as moving paintings. And then I'm gonna start painting. Are you friggin' ready? I just put all of the big boys over there. For scale, I like to work at my height and my wingspan, if not larger. So I'm not gonna move all that stuff on the ground, honestly, because it's so heavy. This is gonna be my painting wall. Cool. There was so much to clean that I essentially went wall by wall instead of cleaning all at once. So I would just kind of scrub the wall, clean everything I could, tape, Swiffer in that section. All right, so it's all taped. I'm definitely gonna just paint the trim because it's really gross and dirty. I'm gonna let that dry and then I'm gonna take down a tarp. Dan's gonna watch this. So I have to put my knee pads on or he's gonna be like, your little knees. Why didn't you just put knee pads on? Can we talk about how perfectly that fit? It's all ready to go. And now I'm probably gonna eat something and then I'm gonna paint. Wash dishes with hot water is like, I have no words. We're just so grateful. I'm so excited. We're gonna start painting. The color that I did is, I think it's called blank canvas, which I thought was perfect. It needs to be white, but not like leaning, I don't want it to lean cold. That's basically the reason I'm like, I have to paint this because it's blue and I can't look at all my paintings in relationship to the blue. The first mark that's going on the whole house. This is so exciting. Oh my God. The difference between those whites is significant. Apparently this works. What? Oh my God. This is so cute. I just found this clicker. Amazing. Slight costume change. I'm just adding my painting jacket. So it's all hand quilted. It's patchworked and hand quilted, all from past painting clothes, which is pretty lovely as a painting jacket. And then it's like, you know, you make this nice jacket and you're definitely not worried about getting paint on it because it already has paint all over it. I did some spackling on the little holes because there's plenty of those to go around.
So my basic painting technique is to paint all of the edges with a smaller angled brush and then go in with my roller. I definitely suggest an extender, especially if the wall is tall or you are very short. I'll go from section to section, so I'll pick one wall at a time because it can get overwhelming.
I'm gonna fill this guy up and do all the stuff on the floor, and then I'm gonna do all the detail stuff. We are meeting with someone to talk about our septic design, so I want to feel like fresh and not like half asleep when the guys here talking to us. So. All right, I am done for the day. Yes, ironed here and here.
You're so cute.
Today I'm gonna tackle this corner. I haven't been showing this, but it's very clear that their painting technique left something to be desired, just like only did one coat. You can see that it used to be red, you can see that it used to be this green, and then the current blue, and they didn't like go in there, get any of that. All like the sides and stuff, like there's stuff like this. I'm gonna do my best. I might even just like trail some of my color onto this just because it's less noticeable in this blue. The first coat is officially on every surface except for this because I'm gonna be doing that a different color. So I had grabbed a few colors. I wanna kind of match them to the floor because it's so pretty. The second coat always is necessary, but particularly when you're covering blue and like every other color this room has ever been painted. Ready to go. Oh my gosh, that looks so much better. Time.
For the second coat, I do the exact same process. Also, if it helps, getting a little bucket or pail for your brush is a great idea.
Oh, and I'll show you some of the pretty snow. So, what I'm gonna do, the previous owner left some of this. I'm gonna just quickly paint this top and get this ready. I'm gonna use this for where I'm putting like my paint palette and stuff like that because I don't have any other surfaces, so we'll have to make do. And this is super cute. First coat. I was able to get the second coat on, but I wasn't able to finish because I ran out of paint. I did a whole gallon, but I ran out. The snow is still really coming down. It's really, really pretty. I'll take a break. Vibes. I got more paint. And then I got special green paint. I'm tempted, I just want to do the green because it's more pretty and fun than white, but it's fine. I'm gonna start with, and then after I finish that, we can take all the tape off and we can do that. And it's very exciting. I was taking off the thing and I caught my finger. Okay, now we're gonna start. Gotta go get a Band-Aid. So I ended up having to actually do 2 more coats. Not perfect, but we're doing our best.
Even the weather seemed to be celebrating, and all anybody felt like watching the giants.
Exhausting wizarding tests. Hi. Look at how pretty that is. Oh my god. It's so pretty. Are you happy there? Good for you? there's green in the house. Oh my God, I'm so happy.
If you watched our video on how we built our own tiny house on wheels, you'll know that I basically painted the entire house green.
Oh my God, he's so cute. Look at his little bum. Oh, you like the little bush?
Wow.
You like
That's
being
pretty.
so cute.
I just keep being faced with a decision. Do I cover it in my own paint or do I let it go? So this is their old green paint. This horror show. This is probably really obvious, but this has sort of been my method for making sure that I'm really getting into the grooves. So I've done this all with a brush. I'm going in and I'm really like, I'm basically just like pushing up on the bristles kind of, and that is definitely helping. This is gonna be the second coat. Oh my God. Yep. Okay, so it's coming together. We're clearing things out and a temporary setup until the desk gets here. And I got a really pretty extension cord. It's green, which is perfect.
I'm getting a little kit together so then I can go from room to room. The painting girl's here. Planning, planning, planning.
We can see this just from our window. Isn't that so pretty? Dana's gonna bring in some stuff so I can have kind of like a pseudo makeshift sewing table. Maybe I'll start a tapestry for our bedroom.
Okay, I'm gonna step on my boxes and just be legless in this moment. I'm gonna be like, why didn't you just wait until I got home? I could have very easily got this for you. But then I wouldn't have had it right away. I think nobody can truly understand what ADHD is until they watch someone just be so chaotic in ways that are indescribable to another person. Oh my God, I need to figure out my costume now that I know I'm going to Universal. Crazy, chaotic lifting. Yarn, why is it so heavy? All the yarn. I guess if you put it all together, it's... I'm just standing on this box. Our next obstacle. How do we get this box out? Okay. We're just getting some yarn. This is what it took to get like 3 pieces of yarn. Okay. What's that noise?
Why did you do that?
Because I needed my yarn. I will do anything. Dan brought me in our like work table from the tiny house. The tiny house isn't here yet, and now I'll be able to use it for art stuff. There's snow on it, and I picked a bunch of leaves off of the little feet. This makes me happy to have this in here. These plants are honestly such a metaphor for this house. Like, they are so beautiful and have so much potential, but they were not properly taken care of. And Dan and I are coming in here and doing everything we can to revive and revitalize this house. And I want to do the same with these plants. I will admit I have a better track record of making a space look beautiful than reviving a dead plant, a dying plant. You're not dead, you're just struggling. Hi, you're so pretty. You're amazing. I would love to have you around forever.
Mrs. Smiles over, no pain, no stains. Smiles leave and looked over her shoulder to see, revealing enormous brown.
What are we doing right now?
Taping up holes.
This is what we mean by fixer-upper.
Oh, you're so pretty. All right, first piece of IKEA furniture. Oh my God! Whoa, it's really smooth. Some smooth action there.
This is exciting.
Good work, Andy.
Goodbye, temporary desk setup. We hardly knew ye. Now. La, sparkle, sparkle. It already just is looking so much better in here. The perfect painting table. Because it's already full of paint.
I have all these little darning mushrooms, which are super, super cute, but they're a little bit plain. So small. They're already very stylistically shaped, so I'll probably just do more of like fantasy mushrooms. But I just want to do a really small project to warm up, and I think this would be really fun.
Even just for a small craft, I really love having a reference photo. I've taken hundreds of photos of mushrooms in the wild, but I really love this vintage mushroom poster that I have. So I use that for specific mushrooms in this little scene of mushrooms.
Before he could even move, the Cruciatus curse, all-consuming that in every inch of pain.
Hello, good morning. So, a lot has been happening in the studio. I've been kind of just working with it the way it is. You know, this is so much more realistic. We are not going out and like buying a million things and starting off with like this massive budget being like, oh, well, I want my studio, I'm just gonna buy a bunch of stuff. What I have done since last we spoke, sparkle, sparkle. And I found this cart in the shed when we thought it was empty and it wasn't empty. So that's, you know, a free find. He's definitely not like incredible at rolling, but that's okay. We've got the desk. At every studio I've ever had, I just have like a cement floor or my feet always end up hurting because I'm standing for so long. Super plush, super nice, really cozy, really affordable. This I found out in the shed, so that's cool. These are just normal like little squishy chairs, but with some blankets. They're feeling really cozy, and this is where I'm like sitting and journaling in the mornings. We're doing our best. Freaking sick ass lamp. Huh? So cool. Illuminates this space, which is really nice. Definitely a lesson we learned from the tiny house of just staying really minimal and being very intentional and getting things that we want to keep for a very, very long time. Hello. So today I am setting up my painting wall to be getting screws into it. And if I raise it up, got a couple of studs in here. 76 height. Let's pick another good height.
So unless I am working plein air outside, I do not use an easel. I always have painted against a wall, either with pegs or screws.
So I'm gonna ask him to put some screws at 76 inches, at 60 inches, that's kind of perfect. And then for stretcher bars, so Dan's rule for me is if it's bigger than me on any side, I have to let him help me make it. So this is getting into the 60 inches, so he's like, okay. I want 45 by 60 for my first stretcher bar, and then I love making similar sized stretcher bars across different series because then it gives this cohesive feel to things. Maybe when I see you next, there'll be pegs or screws on the wall, and we'll have some stretcher bars to, yeah, making it to painting surfaces. Okay.
Hello, I'm back from Florida, and there's been some developments, clearly. What did you do while I was gone? Oh my god, and there's a bed in here. Hello.
Yay, Dan! I am so relieved that I can actually get started.
A huge part of my painting practice is making my painting surfaces myself. So building the stretcher bars, stretching the canvas, and gessoing it with the help of Dan, as I said, when they're really large, is so helpful.
Gessoed already. This one needs gesso, sand, gesso dance.
All right. And now turn it into a painting surface. we need to gesso it. I ended up putting too much water the first time, so I'm just gonna use a spray bottle. The first round of gessoing, you don't want to put it straight on there. You want to water it down. So I'm just doing that. Let's do it.
This is what I call the gesso sand dance, where I gesso, then wait for it to dry, then sand it, then gesso it, wait for it to dry, then gesso, then sand it, and wait for it to dry. And then I'm ready.
First layer is done. Gotta let it dry. It'll take a little while. It's really cold today and it's raining, so that means there's a lot of humidity. So it'll probably take a while to dry, but I'll come back out in an hour or two and then do a second round.
While I waited for the gesso to dry, I couldn't help it, but I got started with my first official painting in the studio space of the tree out front from our window.
Pretty good for a day's work. Good morning. Things have progressed in here.
Before, I had a bunch of sewing stuff under here, and it honestly just made me feel overwhelmed to have anything extra in here. And so we removed anything that didn't need to be in here, and it feels a lot better. The next thing that happened is very exciting.
Because of all the craziness with the electric, we kept having to move things, and things just kind of ended up having to be stored in here because it's like the biggest room. Yesterday was the first day that I was actually able to be in here and do art and not be like completely surrounded by stuff. So, because it's just, I can't really focus. And if I have there was like beds in the middle of the floor. I've been doing paper paintings. I've been working on my tapestry. I've been doing embroidery a little bit. This is a little project that I'm making for Dan as a present. I already got too excited and showed him because it was like, it's so cute. But actually getting to start to fully paint just feels really good, and I feel more like myself. So in this whole room, there is not a single light that is on the ceiling. So we're actually gonna do a series of puck lights, and obviously it's painting, so you really have to be able to see. Shocking, I know. Light, light. Oh my God. What a thing to come home to.
I kept futzing around where things would go, and I'm sure I will do this for the rest of time.
I'm gonna put up some cute things today.
On the last few days, I did a few final touches. Now, since this is only a part one, this is the progress in the painting studio as it stands right now. I am so excited with how things look and feel. It is so unbelievably cozy in here. There's only things that I find beautiful that make me happy. I even have my little decor mushrooms and a little miniature altar. I've got painting books, drawing books, inspiration books, art history books. I've got all the books that I'm especially excited about. I've got some decor. The plants are thriving. We've got a cool lamp. Work in progress on my tapestry. Some of my sewing art supplies. They are currently on the table, so I just have things as minimal as I can so that I can actually use as much of the table as possible. So things are as organized as I can make them. I ended up getting a couple little organizers for my thread. This tree has been the subject of nearly all the work I've made so far. And I actually was able to finish my first painting since being in the studio, called Slowly Emerging, and it is now at Triangle Gallery, the gallery that represents me, in Rockland, Maine, which is an hour from us, so we absolutely love going there. This is how all of my supplies are stored currently. I have things as organized as I can, and if everything has a place, then it feels a little less crazy. It's obviously not perfect, but I'm happy with it. This is my little corner where I do grading and all of my teaching prep, as well as making my videos. to start making things in here, which has been great. I was able to finish my first painting ever in this space. I've been working hard on my tapestry. It's been about 60 hours of work, and I'm probably like 40 hours away from being done. So cannot believe that the studio is up and running, and it's perfect timing for the end of my teaching semester because I'll be able to spend a lot more time in the studio. I hope that you enjoyed this very modest studio renovation. This did in fact turn into my painting wall and has been working really well so far. I definitely cannot have like free abandon to get paint everywhere. Obviously I don't want to get it all over the floor. I'm still using the table from the tiny house, which will eventually be gone, and so I'll have to figure out another table situation probably, but eventually I really want to make a custom painting table that is designed for oil paint, and then I can use that. This series, Making Home, is going to be intertwining my arts practice and creating our home, and I am very much looking forward to seeing the transformation, have you along for the design process, and yeah, it's going to be a great time. Okay, goodbye!
Bloopers.
Why do I look so dirty? I'm not ready. I've got like 2 of my squishes just sitting here looking ridiculous, and it makes me so happy. I realized that there was paint on the stool that was really wet, and I was like, that's weird. And then I looked at my shoe and I was like, oh no. And then I went around and cleaned it up the best I could, but you know, oopsie. Unfortunately, all the paint that was left over from the tiny house froze in the storage unit. Good morning. I think it's hard to give someone a dying plant and be like, you're welcome. It's like, dude. So, yeah. We're gonna do our best. So, what am I actually doing today? 7 minutes of recording and I haven't even said anything. Let me show you what we're working with. So excited. Don't worry. You look like you're wearing pants.
That's kind of the vibe of this house in one image.
It's comically loud in the house right now because Dan is shaving and the laundry machine is going off. Oh, my shirt looks so funny. This is coffee, by the way. I got an espresso machine for my bridal shower, and now I'm just like an espresso, I guess so. Oh shit. I should get the tripod.